Often in our day-to-day lives, we make mistakes large and small. Small ones where we kind of just embarrass ourselves, like, here and there, but we can laugh off and move on from it, an hour or two. And sometimes we make larger ones that might impact us more, throughout our day-to-day lives. And ones that we have to actively, help fix and change however it may be. And D&D is the exact same. Sometimes we do funny jokes where that could be, well-timed place in a very serious moment, and other times we might, ruin someone's moment. And those are the times I want to talk about, and situations that I've encountered personally or if I've seen that I had to change or fix something about my attitude or, approach towards the game, or how I've seen other people make those changes as well. So I'm the Dreadful DM, or Jordan if you want to call me that, and I just want to talk about the mistakes we make in D&D and other TTRPGs, and how we can, change and overcome them to become better players and DMs. The first situation I want to talk about occurs when either a DM or a player steps on another player's toe. And when this typically occurs is when a certain player in your campaign, or the DM, it could also be the DM, is explaining something or having a meaningful moment between another character or another player. And then you, your individual person, decides to shoehorn in a joke or your own character, something that's like, hey, what about me? When you're trying to be like a pick-me or something like that. And then you realize, oh, I might have ruined this moment for them. And it kind of gets this weird, awkward feeling of like, oh, that could have, maybe I ruined that. And it's something that happens either willingly or sometimes a lot of times unwillingly, because maybe you're trying to shoot in one last joke, but then you realize it was a little too late or something like that. And it's something you kind of have to learn and deal with as you play the game, learning that, hey, you're not the only player here. You're not the only person who wants to have their own moment or have their own time in the spotlight, essentially. Because while we're playing D&D, everyone, we're the heroes party. We're the party that's do stuff, where they're doing the cool things, where they're here saving the day, saving the cat from the tree, or whatever it may be. So everyone's going to want the moment or have the moment to explain why they're here, their backstory or something. And everyone should get that moment, because we're all here to have fun, and it's cool to feel cool. You know what I mean? It's something that we should encourage, but it's something we should also learn to encourage equally. Having your players have a moment where they feel like, hey, I feel like I belong in this world. I feel like I have a reason to fight, a reason to be here, a reason to why I'm motivated to go continue this campaign. It's something that you want to foster and something you want to produce out of your characters, out of your players. But if you're interrupting them, like from the DM side, when someone's trying to have a good like role-playing moment, a moment where they can share with another player and explain how the character feels from the events of the story that's unfolded, but you're kind of trying to push past and move past the story. You're like, kind of pressing on the players' agency a little bit. Not agency, but on their ability to storytell themselves, because it's a collaborative storytelling, game, and we want to foster and improve our feelings on it and the story overall. It's a situation that I personally have, mostly on the DM side, I've encountered many times, where I kind of have to learn and find a middle ground and balance between, having the story produce more, but at the same time, let me not, stop my players from enjoying what I've actually produce for them and letting them flesh out their characters. It's a situation that happened early on into like the campaign I've been talking to y'all about, the one with my two friends and my fiance. It's something that I've kind of had to learn. It's like, let them cook, essentially let them cook with their characters, let them talk, let them interact with each other, let them interact with the world, let me provide these little things so they can like go talk and with a random street vendor and start this weird thing where they tailor these weird masks onto the cape. I'm not sure why Alex does that, but he does that. But good for him. I'm proud of him. He's happy with it, so I'm gonna let him do that. And as from a player side, there's been many times when I'm being a player and I've said I'm trying to be funny, I'm saying jokes, but then I say one that's a little past the moment where it's supposed to be there, and I ruin the DMs I ruins like someone's speech or something. I feel such like an asshole for doing it, because I realize, ooh, and that's something you have to realize. Like, the good thing about D&D is that it helps you attune to like social situations. It lets you recognize social norms, social cues and stuff. That's a good thing with role playing and being, in this collective and being in a collaborative storytelling. And one of the good side benefits is realizing when to speak up, when to say something, when you should hold your tongue, when to let someone have their moment or something like that. That's a good thing about D&D. But as to learn this skill and to learn it, you're gonna have to make mistakes, or as a player you're gonna accidentally say a dumb joke, or maybe you try to shoehorn your character when someone's having a good moment. It's like, oh, my character moves in right here. It's like that can wait till after. That can wait till, until the whole conversation is done. Because when you try to show your character, well, my character wouldn't do that. It's like, dude, Who cares? Just let someone have the cool moment with this boss or with the backstory or with this NPC. Your character doesn't need to be always in the background doing something. It's okay to let someone else, take the reins and you just kind of watch what's happening. That's a cool thing about D&D. And also, it lets you see how other people are playing, and bounce off of them. It grows on top of each other. The whole collaborative storytelling, we can build off the top of each other. We're not fighting for a position to be the number one guy, to be the number one character. We're all here to have fun, and we're all here to kind of be cool, because everyone wants to feel cool. It's cool to be cool, you know what I mean? So that's probably one of the biggest things I've encountered personally from both DMing and GMing and being the victim and the offender on both sides, trying to learn how to, have moments where I can try to continue the story as a DM to kind of push it forward, but letting my players cook, essentially. Let them show their characters in this world and how they interact with it, how they feel to the story, and how their characters are dealing with the trauma or the situation, the battle that's occurred, or whatever happens. And as a player, learning how to keep my mouth shut, essentially, and let someone have the moment, let the DM talk and explain what's happening in the environment, in the world, or whatever. Letting my fellow player, my teammate, or whatever you want to call him, have the moment with the backstory of this NPC, or in a battle where they get to have that cool one-liner before they chop off the enemy's head, Letting your players, your friends, your DM have the moment to explain themselves or flesh out the world in the way they want is very important. It's something you just have to learn through playing and trying. Those regular social cues or social norms that you just kind of have to know either going into it or you're going to pick up going into D&D. So you're going to embarrass yourself sometimes. Sometimes you're going to feel like an asshole or a dick, and you're just going to have to learn with it and also just want to improve with it, because that's the most important thing about, making mistakes like this, while also recognizing that you did make a mistake, but also wanting to improve on it. It's learning to, shut up and let someone have their moment. So let's get into our next topic, which is... So the next situation I want to talk about is the restriction of players' freedom and how mostly DMs deal with that. I personally have to go through this a lot, and how much I let my players, how much I let them mess around the world, how much I let them, destroy things, or, talk with people, or maybe miss talking with people and something like that. It's something where, once again, in a lot of situations, a lot of social situations, you kind of have to learn by doing. You kind of have to learn how your players play, how you play, how the world around them acts, and how you present that to them. And my personal campaign, it's kind of a detective, neo-noir, investigator type of setting. So they understand they have to talk to a lot of people. They understand they have to get information from people they might not be the most, clearly presented. It's not like a glowing beacon on this one fellow that's like, hey, you should go talk to him. Other times, in other campaigns, when there's a little more of a prototypical adventure fantasy, it might be a little more like, hey, go talk with the king or something. It's very obvious that the information has to come from there, and it's a little more obvious that, which way the player should go. And let's kind of get into the issue of like, how much should you let your players figure out, mess around the world? How much you should let them off the leash a little bit and let them, either ruin relationships, break things, kill people, or like ruin entire possible storylines and how that can interact and change your world. If you're like a more seasoned DM, you're more of a seasoned player, you can go through situations where maybe it's okay if, your players accidentally blow up the kingdom or something like that, because you can pivot that into another storyline with this. But more as a new DM, as starting off, it could be seen scary to letting your players kind of, essentially ruin the world a little bit, or ruin parts of the world, and you kind of like, oh, how do I interact with this? So a lot of DMs, a lot of people, a lot of refer to just kind of, no, you can't do that because XYZ, because it's anti-magic field or something, or because this guy will blow you up with a level 5 fireball or something like that. And it's a situation you constantly I know how I'm talking, I know what I'm doing. Oh! Hey y'all, I in fact did not know what I was doing. I muted my goddamn mic when I decided to shove it in my mouth. So yeah, sorry about that. So here, I'm just yapping for another minute, but I'm just gonna cut in like 6 seconds of me dancing. 6, 7. But yeah, sorry about that. Talk to you on a little bit. I am not cooking. Oh Lord, have mercy on my soul. As a DM, it can be seen as, a little bit difficult. It can be seen as scary to let your players go in because you don't know how much they're going to mess around, how much they're going to ruin the things you set up for yourself, either purposely or like inadvertently because they don't realize something was set up. It can be seen as scary of letting your players do as much as they want. And from the player side of thing, it's also a player side of thing issue. It's a level of buy-in you have to do this. We're playing a game together. We are, trying to build the story. It's a collaborative storytelling game, and we're trying to do this together, and we're trying to make this time we spend 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it may be, as a good enjoyable time, not just for the players but for the DM too, since they're presenting to this. They spend time in their own lives to kind of make and prep this whole thing that we can mess around in. So there's a little buy-in from the players that we expected, because as a player, there should be a point where it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't ruin this thing. Maybe I shouldn't randomly kill this guy because I just want to, because of what my player would do. It's like, dude, stop being just an ass. Just say you're a dick. Just go ahead and say, It's one of those things where we kind of have to, on the player side of thing, buy into the story. Let them interact with players, characters that are obviously highlighted by the DM. The things like, oh, we should go talk with him, or we should do this, or we should do that. Things that are simple and things that should easily, that have been shown through the test of time of, different stories and stuff, like this guy, the king that needs to go talk to. Let's go talk with the king. Let's not go murder him just because it's what my player or it's what my character would do. It's something dumb and stupid like that. So from the player side, I think there's a level of buy-in that we're gonna have to do, in a level of self-restriction and, self-restraint of being like, hey, maybe let's not be that horrible person that, it's back in my mind for some reason because I'm weird like that, And from the DM side of things, it's like filling out your players and letting them mess around and letting them interact with us the way they want. But if you see them messing around a little too much, you see them blowing up and trying to be like this murder hobo, then reeling that in and being like talking with the players outside of the game. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to get this thing rolling. I'm trying to get the ball rolling. I'm trying to do this for all of us. Can you not be an a-hole? Essentially, it's something you have to deal with either inside the game, outside the game, or other situations all around the game. So stuff like that you kind of have to, once again, learn by doing. I can't sit here and be like, hey, this is how you do it, XYZ. You just look at your player and you fucking put them in the full Nelson and you start, kicking them in the back. It's very simple, actually. No, it's something like that. You kind of just have to learn and try and talk with your players inside or outside the game, whether they're being a nuisance on purpose and being like, I want to kill everything. It's like, dude, are you French? You know what you did. It should be something like that, or you should, outside of the game, you'd be like, hey man, we're trying to do this. I understand you're trying to do that thing, but it's kind of messing it up for myself and like everybody else. Everyone's kind of annoyed, and be like, being an adult with someone and talking with them and be like, hey, that's a good thing about D&D. These small stakes, low situations that are not like, world breaking or something that you can easily, conflict resolution and talk with the players. It's something that you can go through and simply do and talk and figure out how we're going to do it, So that's something that's always very going to be a large part of the game, no matter how, experienced you are as a DM. Just figuring out how much you should let your players run around the world, how much you should let them interact and change it. And from the player side of things, how much you should, restrict yourself and buy in, a certain level of buy-in you should, be willing to give to the DM, because they spend time and, energy trying to fix this and trying to, present this game that we could play together. That's the whole point of D&D, playing this whole thing together. So, yeah. Let's go over to my last topic for today. Final thing I want to talk about happens a lot for myself and a lot of other people, I imagine too, but losing fact of the site that this is just a game, that we're just playing this to have fun, and we're not writing some Tolkien epic about going this whole thing about going across, Middle Earth to, destroy the ring or something. We're not making this groundbreaking story that's, going to change the fabric of how everyone views the way we're able to tell stories and storytelling in general. No, this is just a time where a lot of our friends can just get together and play a game that we can roll some funny dice around and, hopefully hit that funny creature named George or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a time where we can just have fun, just relax, and just, mess around with each other, play a game, have fun storytelling bits, have cool moments. It's a lot of times I happened with me early on my DMing career, was that I get too sucked into the story and I get too invested into it. So I'm like, oh, it has to roll like this, it has to be this, it has to be this. And then I get into aspects of restricting my players a lot because I want them to follow the story exactly, and then possibly interrupting my players and being like, no, the story has to go like this. And that kind of all wraps into the fact that, like, hey, this is just a game. We're here to have fun. We're here to, enjoy each other's company and spend 3, 4, 5 hours, or how long you play your D&D sessions, maybe once, 2, 3 times a week, maybe once a month, or whatever you guys do, just to kind of have fun and play this game and interact with each other and be these cool characters you make, being this guy named Nephris or whatever, being this cool guy named, Barrett or whatever you want to call it, having moments that we can just interact with each other in fun, low stakes way and spend time with each other, fight this cruel enemy, fight a dragon to save the city. That a lot of times that we lose sight of that, and sometimes we try to be like, oh, I'm trying to make a story here, so things have to go this way, and this way, as that can happen a lot to me as a DM. And as for a player, it's like, no, my characters stick with the backstory, I can't do this, I can't show any signs, it has to be like this. So if my guy is a murdering asshole, I'm gonna be like that. No, a lot of times we're just like, hey, it's a game, everyone once came here, just the main goal is to play this game, to kind of enjoy it, to enjoy the time and spending time together. There we go. It's supposed to be a fun experience for everyone. It's supposed to be low stakes. It's not supposed to be this intense thing. We're not here on Critical Role. We're not in Dimension 20 trying to combine entertainment with playing this D&D. We're here to talk about some Gleam Glorb, talk about a gnome named George that never existed, but for some reason this one player thinks they existed, but whatever. But it's supposed to have fun, dumb moments where your characters, your players, they feel cool, where you explain this cool thing, and maybe dumb penis jokes come in and you're like, Penor. And it's supposed to be stuff like that. It's supposed to have fun. It's supposed to, time where you can just spend time with your friends, because maybe that's the only way you can spend time with each other. Maybe you do it online because it's a time when you and your friends can actually hang out, because you guys are different parts of the world or something, or maybe you guys have very busy lives, so maybe once a month you guys get together and you can tell this cool story, but you're supposed to hang out and talk and do all this cool stuff. That's the part that I often lose sight of myself when I'm making a story, making this whole campaign or doing this, is that at the end of the day, this is just meant to have fun with each other. We're supposed to just kind of talk with each other and realize, take the foot off the gas and hey, let them have the role-play moment. Let them talk with each other. Let them mess around sometimes in the world. You're creating this cool world that if they bought in, they want to mess around with, they want to be in, they want to interact with the NPCs, different people in the world. Let them do that. It's okay if they mess up here or there. It's okay if they accidentally step on someone's toes every once in a while. Let them get invested in the world and learn from themselves and learn how the world interacts with each other, and let them become players they want to be and the characters they want to play. Let them have fun. That's the part I miss out a lot, because a lot of times I get lost into this story's supposed to happen here, and then this is supposed to happen, then I get lost in that, and then I'm just down myself in the corner so that's gonna be a gift. Oh, okay, sorry, hopefully that doesn't look too weird. I did shove the mic in my mouth a little bit ago and I muted myself, so who cares, honestly. See, just have fun, dude. That's the whole thing, and that's mostly the main aspect that I've been learning and still trying to maybe fine-tune just a little bit, and how much I should release off the gas a little bit and let my players have fun. That's mostly the big thing. It's supposed to be a cool, enjoyable time for everyone, and that's supposed to be the main goal of D&D. We're not here being Critical Role, being Brendan Lee Mulligan, being Matt Mercer. We're not making these giant stories for millions of people. It's supposed to be between your friends, maybe some people at Adventures Party or League. Adventures League, sorry. And you're supposed to have a cool, fun time. You're supposed to roll some dice, maybe say some cool one-liners every once in a while, and just be like, yeah, I killed Boblin the Goblin. So, fun times. But yeah, that's all pretty much I wanted to talk about and say, so I'm just going to go on over to my final thoughts. So yeah, that's the video. We kind of messed up in the middle. It was kind of funny. I'm going to kind of leave it in. It's okay to kind of laugh at yourself sometimes. But I just wanted to make this, video to talk about situations I've encountered and how I try to be a better player, a better DM for the sake of, D&D. It's fun to, spend time with your friends for 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever, how much you do it. And kind of just enjoy a story you made for them, or enjoy a story your friend made, or something like that, It's a time to get together with friends. It's very low stakes, supposed to have fun. And it's good to, encourage their fun by not being a problem player, by not doing these things that kind of ruins the flow of the campaign or something. So yeah, just want to talk about a little bit stuff that I've encountered, stuff that I try to fix in my own playing style or DMing style, and try to, be a better all-around force for my friends to kind of be like, hey, let's have fun with this. It's not too serious. It's not too, intense on this. So yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I had some fun times making this, so I hope you all enjoyed. Go take a walk. It's good for you, good for yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.